Very much. I'm losing my voice from very pleasing to be sitting there and listening to all the reflections of various stakeholders that participated in the first competition. So primarily and most importantly are the students themselves, and we heard from a brief selection of those, and I really congratulate the three top prize winners that we heard from, but indeed the top 10 and top 30, and indeed all the students. But of course, it's a complex complex process to run this. We needed the support of the supervisors. We needed evaluators to give their time. And of course, right at the beginning, I needed strong support from partners in Pakistan. So I'd particularly like to thank the VC of Vice Chancellor of University of Haripur. I'd like to thank HEC for their support, not only during the process of the competition, but very kindly and at short notice, giving us the opportunity to hold these events here today. It's been a fantastic event, and I've really appreciated the opportunity to meet many of you. It's always very pleasing for me to see smiling faces and enthusiasm, and certainly saw a lot of those today, and it's just wonderful. I should remember to thank Imran Kadir for his endless enthusiasm for the concept. I think that fateful time when Imran and Malik, my PhD student at the University of Queensland, when they had the conversation that we've heard about, that really started and sparked the whole chain of events with the webinar, and then following webinars, and then we came up with the idea of, well, let's do a competition, let's do it in Haripur. And before we knew it, we had the crazy idea of doing it right across Pakistan and right across all areas and topics. So if you think about that, it's quite amazing that you could pull that off, because if you were to ask yourself what are the commonalities between and across research areas, you might think there's not much common at all, and that researchers in different areas would have no chance of ever communicating or discussing what they do in a way that would be meaningful. But I think what this has shown is that those barriers, while they're clearly there when we get to the technical, the super technical side of research, when we think about what are the common elements that might be required in any research situation, there are a lot of commonalities, and I'm really excited that not only have we had a success in this first round, but it's very likely, and we need and make sure everything is in place, but that we for 2018-19. We had a very productive meeting this morning with the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, and they very kindly agreed to be strong supporters in terms of promoting the competition going forward. Foundation partners of this competition will be the University of Haripur in Pakistan and the University of Queensland. We're particularly keen and see it as greatly important that we spread the network of strong universities across Pakistan to be involved in this process going forward. And already we've had some preliminary discussions with those that have been in attendance today. These discussions will continue, and I think as the development and thoughts progress towards the end of this year, and we will certainly crystallise the shape and the form of a new competition. And now that I've come to Pakistan, I'm very comfortable to do that again at a more timely point in the process of that second competition, where there wouldn't be such a long gap of time between when we announce the winners and we have this closing ceremony. So I think everything is very positive going forward for what can be a really productive research program and process. It's part of, as I said this morning, capacity building. It's capacity building at the grassroots level, and the stronger the group that we can create moving forward, and the support that we can get right across the sector will give us a lot of strength in terms of making this hugely productive and successful event going forward. This year, as you've heard, we had just over 100 entries across, I think, almost or about 20 universities in Pakistan. There was a wide variety of topic areas and disciplines covered, and I think in the upcoming version of this, it can only become stronger and more exciting. And one thing that we could investigate doing in terms of a follow-up competition is that we could coincide the announcement of winners in an event like this, where we have the finalists actually orally pitch their research to an audience like this. And that's what I do at the University of Queensland. I run a UQ-wide competition, and the finalists get about 8 to 10 minutes to present their pitch to the audience. So they'd have a set of slides that are quite faithful to the framework, and the audience sits and listens and absorbs what the research is that they've been working on. And this brings out additional skills, so the oral skills then become quite important. And we know in terms of having a successful career pretty much in any area, in any discipline, not only is one's ability to work in a diligent way around research, to write well and communicate in a written form, but to be able to communicate orally to an audience is an additional skill, and that, I think, would be an innovation and an additional capacity building element to this competition as we go forward. So I think we will open the lines of communication going forward for the competition. We, through the agency of the University of Haripur, and I guess primarily Imran Kadir, would be welcoming of communication from other institutions who are willing to come on board and help promote in a more systematic way this competition going forward. And I think I know Imran's been quite stressed over the last few weeks, and I think he and his team are to be congratulated, and they need a break, they need a rest. So we won't jump into this too quickly, but we will do it, and we'll do it in a measured way, and I think it's going to reinforce the positive alliance and collaboration between Pakistan and Australia. Australia, it'll be the University of Queensland and the Business School that are primary supporters, and I think that's pretty much everything. I'd just like to thank everyone that's come along today and been part of this ceremony, this celebration. And maybe my final comment is referring back to the Vice-Chancellor's almost his final comment when I started my webinar, the theme we had was reaching the unreachables, and that wasn't a theme that I came up with. Malik, my Pakistan PhD student, suggested that, and I sort of said to him, are you sure this is okay? I don't want it to be offensive. And he has reassured me it was actually, there was a positive message there. And I embrace that, but as has been pointed out, and it's very obvious now, this is not a webinar. It's not about having a virtual reach to any unreachables. You're not unreachable at all. And I almost feel like I have to apologise for any offence that might have caused. I'm happy to be here, and I really am convinced this is a great initiative, and as much of my time as I can devote to assisting this program and the university sector in Pakistan. If you're happy to encourage me, then I will volunteer my time as much as I can. But I do like travelling to other parts of the world as well. So thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Professor.